Welcome to Birds Play Sports, where we weekly cover Ravens, Orioles news. We're your hosts, TJ and Jared. And in this video, we're going to be doing a pregame for upcoming um, Week 8 matchup. The Week 8,
Yeah, yeah.
Week 8 matchup against the Chicago Bears. Game that, we desperately need to win. A
Oh, yeah.
game that, it's going to be a tough game. The Bears have a pretty good team. They've won 4 games in a row, so they're coming in hot. And they have a really good offense and a really good defense. And I've been telling you a lot about how they have very physical. They got guys like Jaquan Brisker. They just have an all around just very physical and hard hitting defense.
Mhm.
And it's going to be a tough matchup. Against kind of our small ball offense.
Yeah.
So to just get into it, I want to start with the defense going against the Bears offense. And I feel like they have guys like Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, just, them two alone, they can really stretch the field. I think it can cause a lot of problems. And especially with Rome, I got to see a lot of him, because the Bears games have been in our region, when it comes to watching TV, play against the Cowboys, they played against the Commanders, and just seeing it's kind of pick your poison. Is one going to go off? If one goes off and the other creates the opportunity, for the other one, and we're going to have to find a way to negate that. We kind of we're facing that with the Rams when it came to Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams, but obviously Puka got injured, so we didn't really feel the full force of that. But I feel like we're really going to have to deal with that come Sunday, and it's going to be interesting to see the schemes that we work with to try to negate that because Alohi Gilman, he did play impressive in his first game against the Rams, but at the same time, this is different caliber. You're facing two of them at the same time. And that's not to mention they have two good tight ends. They have Cole Kmet, they have Colston Loveland, who was a high, blue chip, rookie prospect. So I'm just very curious to see how, guys in our defense, especially Roquan, is going to do against his old team. I don't, believe that we'll be able to get much pressure on Caleb Williams, which is a bad thing because he has a cannon of an arm. He can really throw that ball deep, but I feel like man coverage and our coverages is going to be the key to victory in this game. We're really going to have to play sideline to sideline football, and we're really going to have to really, stay with our guys when we want to, mitigate, those big plays down the field. So, that's just my, opening, spill, for their offense, going against our defense. What are your thoughts?
Um, at this point, I'm kind of, low on expectations for the defense, but I did mention in our last video that I kind of hope for improvement, when it comes to, stacking good games together, versus the Rams, get a chance to learn more on the bye and then hopefully stack good games versus, also caught on the Browns, the Bears. Um, but the one I think the most important thing is not always, well, I guess always, but like mainly against Caleb is, you gotta lock the edges down. We can't let him do too much. Off script plays. And
Yeah,
if there's one thing that always has killed the Ravens, it's off script plays. Really any team, but really I feel like the Ravens in particular. So those two, who are gonna be the edges for the game? I don't even know. At this,
yeah.
I mean, no, really, who is it? Carl Lawson and
I don't even think he has enough time to even figure out the playbook for this game.
who the hell are our edges going to be? That's a great question.
Maybe those African guys that we just signed. I don't know, but
Oh, I guess the Javo is one of them. Oh God. Oh, and Van Noy, duh. Um, and so those two are gonna need to set the edge.
great leaders in Java.
Hopefully, Kyle Van Noy can teach him a lesson or two. I wish I would have kept that video. I'd actually deleted it. That could have been good blooper humor or whatever for our channel. But anyways, you know, David Ajabo, hasn't really, panned out how he wanted him to, but he's gonna need to just, set the edges, man. I mean, look, he can't rush the passer. I think that's very clear. But as long as he can
Yeah,
stop the run and set the edges, then I won't say nothing bad about him.
yeah,
Same thing with Van Noy. His pass rushing days seem to be kind of dwindling down. So oh, and then Mike Green. How could I forget? Forgettable. See, I don't even know. I watch this team on a daily, and I forget all these freaking guys. So Mike Green, we're gonna need to see some more progress from him, which we haven't seen really any. I kind of feel bad because like he's kind of been thrown into the fire, with how crappy our line has been, our defensive
Yeah.
line. So it's gonna be up to our guys like Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, and hopefully Jair Alexander gets a chance to play to lock down these guys. And Zach Orr, please keep some pressure up. That's what I gotta say. Please scheme some pressure. Get Kyle Hamilton to get home, or whatever, or maybe even Trent Simpson. Somebody. We gotta get home. And I know you said we're not getting a lot of sacks, but we really have no option otherwise. We gotta get pressure so that we can make him throw some errant balls, or whatnot, and we just can't let him escape the pocket. So edges, set the edges, cover well, get some pressure with Hamilton. That should be then you should maybe put up some good, defensive numbers. Probably won't cause any turnovers, or you still probably gonna get like 27 points, but only
Yeah.
27. Don't give up 47.
Yeah. And I would just say have a very sound run defense. They have DeAndre Swift, who's still a pretty good back. I
Yep.
would say a top, 10 to 15 back in the league. And I feel like a back that we were kind of linked to back in 2020, when it came to drafting running backs. So, we're not very familiar with him, but, he's still a good back. And I think he can cause some problems, going
Absolutely.
into this game. But,
Hmm.
no, I just want to talk about the offense now, shifting into the offense a little bit. I'm going to ask you a question. I feel like I want to see a lot more Zay in this game. I really feel like it's important to get him going. Also, Isaiah Likely. We need to just get both of the Zays going in this game, and just speeding up their process of really getting into the season. Because, we're going to need great tight end play, especially if we're going to, potentially trade Mark Andrews or, let him go at the end of the season. We want to really get Isaiah Likely just involved into this offense and, really push him moving forward.
Hmm.
And also, I feel like Zay. Um, I got to see, some interviews that he, did in the locker room this week, and he looked, high in spirits and happy, and he apologized for, not taking accountability, talking to the media after the losses, and I feel like, mindset wise, he's ready for the second half of the season, and he's ready to move forward. But I feel like time, will tell. So hopefully, he continues to lock in and really gets those opportunities from Monken.
Yeah.
Because me and you were just talking about this earlier. Other teams scheme up ways to really get their best guys open.
Yeah.
And I feel like we need to start doing that instead of just, getting that one big play from Zay, and that's all we see from him.
Yeah. Yeah. I was laughing because I was remembering, Zay Flowers, he was like laughing. He was like
You
laughing to
sure?
the
You sure about that?
Yeah, no, but I was like I was laughing because like Zay Flowers is kind of like I don't know, that felt like a half-assed apology. Because he was pretty much like this. He was pretty much like this. He was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I respect you guys." And he was saying it like that. I'm like, bro, like, are you serious about that, or you just kind of like you feel like obligated to do this, Like, but you know, I'll say that I agree definitely. Both of the Zays got to get going.
Yeah,
Especially likely he probably has more penalty yardage than yardage. Like he really has struggled this year so far. And I don't know what that's about. I guess maybe he hasn't really played with Lamar like that, so I guess that kind of is the reason why. But
yeah,
you know, it's like an underrated guy. It's probably gonna be like DeAndre Hopkins. If he's good to go. Um, yeah, we can get him some slants, get some quick plays, maybe intermediate plays, trying to get him open. Yeah, I think that's going to be a big part of the game, especially if Lamar's playing. We still don't know if Lamar's playing or not, but please just get the running game going, guys. If Patrick Carr's there, hopefully the running game can find a new gear.
yep,
Found a new gear in the Rams game. Hopefully they can continue to find new gears with that. And hopefully Derrick Henry can have another 100-yard game. He really struggled. I wouldn't say he struggled. He was really getting pounded really hard, behind the offensive line, you know,
yeah,
and that's kind of crazy. But um, he got the easiest way to stop Derrick Henry is to make sure he doesn't get a full head of steam. We
yeah,
know that we've done it before. Like meaning both times like we played him in the playoffs. We stopped him or we let him get a full head of steam. And our offensive line gotta show some pride, man. They gotta show some pride and be like, all right, you don't want it more than us.
yeah.
So, and it feels like these guys are very weak mentally and weak physically. But I want that to change. I don't feel like keep having to come up here and bitching about Falele or Voorhees or Rosengard or whoever. Like, you guys gotta want it more. Just like what Linderbaum said, the other team wanted it more. Why don't you want it more? Come on.
Yeah, that was embarrassing to say. That really is. So we got to be stronger mentally. We got to start asking questions about George Warhop. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is he seeing? On his evaluations, weekly evaluations of the offensive line.
Don't be looking at
And
nothing. Probably take naps.
yeah, that's what it seems like. So, definitely a lot on both sides of the ball that we want to see. And, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm curious to see their stats and just, having that in mind, how it's going to go. Like, just trying to visualize how it's going to go against our offense.
All right. Well, let's get into the stats. Well, first, before we get into the stats, we will talk with injury report. Hi, everyone. Sorry to interject here, but there's been pretty drastic changes in the injury report with the Ravens and the Bears. I'm not going to show you the one that we had filmed in this video. I'm going to just interject here and give you the updated version as we didn't know who was out and who was playing. So I'm going to get right into it, not waste any time here. Um, for the Bears, their injury report looks like this. Kyler Gordon, DB, was limited on Thursday with a groin and calf injury. He did not practice on Friday. He is out for the game on Sunday. Roshan Johnson had a back injury. He didn't practice all week. He is out for Sunday. Braxton Jones was limited but did not practice Thursday or Friday. He's out for the game on Sunday. Cole Kmet has a back injury. He did not practice all week. He's out for Sunday. Tyreek Stevenson has a shoulder injury. He did not practice all week. He's out for Sunday. DeAndre Swift, what's it called? Had a knee injury. He was did not practice on Wednesday. Was limited Thursday and Friday. He's questionable for the game on Sunday. Austin Booker had a knee injury. He was full all week, but he is questionable for Sunday. Let's see, Amen. Me and TJ didn't even try to pronounce this guy's name. So linebacker Amen. I'm not gonna try now. He was full all week as well. He's questionable for the game. Cairo Santos was limited on Wednesday, but was full Thursday and Friday. He's questionable for the game. Tremaine Edmonds, Grady Jarrett, DJ Moore, Joe Thuney, and Ashawn Wright all are off the injury report, and they are all good to go on Sunday. Um, for the Ravens, this has definitely changed over time as well. TW Wize was full. JW Uze, Kyle Hamilton, DeAndre Hopkins, Marlon Humphrey, Patrick Ricard, Roquan Smith, Ronnie Stanley, and Devontae Walker are all off the injury report, and they're all ready to go on Sunday. Except I thought, I was going to say Emory Jones isn't, but Emory Jones isn't on here. He won't be playing on Sunday, but he is activated to the 53-man roster now. With Tyree, I think it was with Tavius Robinson going on the IR. Lamar Jackson, though, had a hamstring injury. He was limited Wednesday, Thursday, and practiced full on Friday. It was expected that he would go on the game on Sunday, or maybe not expected, but hopeful that he would go on the game on Sunday. But he was changed to questionable on Friday, or I'm sorry, limited on Friday, and is ruled out for the game on Sunday. So Tyler Huntley will be taking his spot to prove to you I'm not lying here. There's been an update to Lamar Jackson's Friday practice and game status. Lamar Jackson was downgraded from a full participant to limited and has ruled out for tomorrow, and was ruled out or has been ruled out for tomorrow's game versus Chicago. So Tyler Huntley will start in his place. I don't know if he wasn't full on Friday and they just lied about it on the injury report. I'm not entirely sure, but that'll be interesting to see if anybody is asked about that. So Lamar Jackson is out for Sunday. My prediction still stands later in the video, whether he was in there or not. So I make that comment later in the video. So hopefully you guys get to that point. But I'm done with this interjection and I'm gonna continue on with the video. I actually wanted to show. Let me see if I can get this out of the way. I can get it back. Wanted to see if I can have this pop up. As you can see, I don't know if you know about this, but we are. Damn, this is making freaking ruining my freaking momentum here in this video. Hold on, we got this. Don't worry. We are wearing black on white on
Oh
on
wow.
on Sunday for the first time since the last game of the season in on 2021. So that's something new. I
Ah,
think
that is something new.
You know the season's over when the Ravens are throwing some bullshit ass freaking uniform combinations together. I'll tell you that. Um, I'm serious about that too. So anyways, to go on to the statistics here, offensively, the Chicago Bears average. Can Justice Field get out of the way? Um, the Chicago Bears average 25.3 points per game, which is 10th in the league. They average 346.5 yards per game, which is 12th in the league. They average .406 points per play, which is 15th in the league. They average 5.6 yards per play, which is 14th in the league. Their third down conversion rate is at 40.26%, which is 14th in the league. Their fourth down conversion rate is at 42.86%, which is 27th in the league. Their red zone scoring touchdown percentage is at 50%, which is 21st in the league. I'm sorry. And their touchdowns per game is at 2.7, which is 17th in the league.
Getting distracted over there with
I
something.
apologize for for that. Um, their rush play percentage is at 46.79%, which is fifth in the league. Their rushes yards their yards per rush is at 4.4%, which is 14th in the league. They average 29.2 rushes per game, which is seventh in the league. They average 129.3 rush yards per game, which is eighth in the league. They average one rush touchdowns per game, which is 12th in the league. Their passing game, they throw the ball 53.21%, which is 28th in the league. Their completion percentage is at 61.17%, which is 27th in the league. Their yards per pass is 7.3, which is 13th in the league. Their passes per game is at 31.3, which is 19th in the league. They average 217.2 yards per pass yards per game, which is 14th in the league. Their 1.60% interception thrown percentage is 14th in the league, and their QB sack percentage is at 5.53%, which is 13th in the league. So, it's gonna be hard to get pressure on them, but it's possible. They run the ball successfully more than they throw it. Really gonna need to lock in. And I apologize again for my slip ups.
So moving on to their defense, opponent points per game, 25.8, which is 20, move this a little bit closer, which is 25th in the league. Opponent yards per game is 350, which is 25th in the league.
Jeez.
Opponent points per play is 0.457, which is 29th in the league. Opponent yards per play is 6.2, which is 32nd. Opponent third down conversion percentage is 30.51, which is third. Opponent fourth down conversion percentage is 50, which is seventh. Opponent red zone scoring percentage is 68.42, which is 27th. And opponent touchdowns per game is 3.2, which is 28th. When it comes to the rushing, opponent rush play percentage is 45.72, which is 24th. Opponent yards per rush is 5.3, which is 31st. Opponent rushes per game is 25.8, which is 17th. Opponent yards per rush is 137.7, which is 28th. And opponent rush touchdowns per game is 0.7, which is 10th. When it goes to their passing, opponent pass play percentage is 54.28, which is ninth. Opponent completion percentage is 71.51, which is 29th. Opponent yards per pass is 7.7, which is 27th. Opponent passes per game is 28.7, which is 7th. Opponent pass yards per game is 212.3, which is 17th. Opponent interception thrown percentage is 6.40, which is first. And the
Damn.
sack percentage is 6.52, which is 18th.
Maybe catching some picks.
Yeah.
All right. Want to move on to individual player statistics here. Caleb Williams, their QB1 is 113 for 185, which is good for a 61.1 completion percentage for 1,351 yards. He averages 7.3 yards per throw. He averages or per whatever. He averages 225.2 yards per game. He has 9 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, which is good for a 92.9 quarterback rating. DeAndre Swift has 89 carries for 419 yards. That's good for 4.7 yards per carry. His longest is 23. He has 3 rushing touchdowns, and he averages 69.8 yards per game. Kyle Mahogany has 35 carries for 162 yards, which is good for 4.6 yards per carry. His longest is 24 yards, and he has a touchdown in the year, and he averages 27 yards per game. That's probably it. I don't gonna read any more out of that. Rome Odunze, their leading receiver, has 24 receptions on 46 targets for 359 yards. That's 15 yards per catch for 5 touchdowns. He averages 59.8 yards per game. Expect him to get 300 yards tonight or on Sunday. DJ Moore, former Go Terps. They suck though. But his 22 receptions on 31 targets for 258 yards. That's good for 11.7 yards per catch. He has a touchdown and he averages 43 yards per game. Luther Burden III has 12 receptions on 14 targets for 172 yards. That's good for 14.3 yards per catch. A touchdown and he averaged 28.7 yards per game. And that's probably it. And that's well, DeAndre Swift 16 for 22 for 166, 10.4 yards per catch, a touchdown, and he averaged 27.7 yards per game. So gotta let's get the. Did they have any tight ends that are good? Like Cole Kmet. Anyways, so you can go on and read the defense, sir.
Yeah, so for total tackles, Tremaine Edmonds leads him with 61. Noah Sewell, 32. Kevin Byard, the third, has 31.
Yeah,
Laquan
watch
Brisker.
the watch is kind of interfering with your volume.
Oh, okay. Kevin Byard, the third, has 31. Laquan Brisker, one of their very good safety they have, is 30. Sean Wright, he's a pretty good cornerback as well. He has 26 total tackles. Tyreek Stevenson has 25. TJ Edwards has 20. Montez Sweat has 18. Nick McLeod has 14. Javon Dexter has 12. And Odeyingbo has 12 as well. Pretty much top defensive players. When it comes to sacks, Javon Dexter Sr. has 2.5 sacks. Montez Sweat has 2. Dominic Robinson has 1.5. Um, and Tano Capasino, I think that's how I pronounce his name, has 1, as well as pretty much the rest of their defensive players. Montez Sweat, he has 5 tackles for loss. Mayshawn Wright has 3. Dominic Robinson has 2. Javon Dexter Sr. has 2. Noah Sowell has 2. Kevin Byard has 2. Tremaine Edmonds, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
Finally, we're the interceptions. I'd have a lot of interceptions. Wow, 4. He has 4 interceptions already.
we only got like one this year.
That's almost more than what Marlon Humphrey had last year. Wow.
Let's not go crazy. He had like 8.
I think he had 6. But
Oh, he
Kevin
had like
Byard the third.
7.
Kevin Byard the
Hold
third
on, I gotta look
has
this up, bro. I'm gonna look it up. We go ahead.
Kevin Byard the third has 4 interceptions. Jermaine Edmonds has 3. Nashawn Wright has 2. Tyreek Stevenson has 1. And Shaquan Brisker has 1 as well.
All right, I'm still looking. Hold on. I'm gonna find it. Don't worry. It's 6. Okay. Whatever. um. So yeah, that's all. So yeah, they're definitely pretty loaded defensively, especially in the secondary. Damn, man. If anyone but Lamar's playing, man, it might be a long day. I mean, it was gonna be like that either way, but if God forbid Cooper Rush is out there again, enjoy your Sunday, man. Don't watch the Ravens.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. It's going to be
We're
tough.
gonna watch, unfortunately, because we love pain and torture. But but a freaky like that. Now I'm playing.
Maybe you are.
But anyways, but no, in all seriousness, yeah, I'm being dead serious though. Like if Cooper Rush or Tyler Huntley's playing, hang out with your kids, hang out with your friends, sleep more than you usually do. Do something different. Go work in the garden. I don't know. Go order pizza. Do something. Don't watch the Ravens.
Yeah, but all in all, that just goes to show we really need Lamar back, especially when we're turn the tide of the season. We really need to start being the Ravens that, we were projected to be going into the season and, see if we can salvage this thing, and moving forward, it all starts with Sunday. So hopefully we can get the win, go to 1-0 this week and so on and so forth in the next week. But
On
I
the
believe
third
it's, yeah, but I believe that's all we got, for you guys in this.
predictions, both players.
Oh,
Come on, man.
predictions. I'm sorry. I'm
All right,
sorry.
do
I'm
both,
sorry. I'm
but
sorry.
breakout player, both prediction breakout player, and then your prediction for the game.
That's my fault, guys. See the Ravens already got me clocked out the season. All right. Breakout predictions, both predictions. How could I get breakout player? I'll say Rashad Bateman. I feel like He's going to get a lot more attention in this game. I say he gets 5 grabs, 75 yards, and tutty. I say bold prediction. We sack Caleb Williams 2 times.
That's crazy. That's a bold prediction now.
Yeah,
That shit we used to get weekly.
yeah, I'll say that. 2 sacks from Caleb. And oh yeah, my final
It was like, well,
prediction.
you know, in this score.
I'm kind of still thinking about it. Let me see.
Okay. You want me
I
to get my
say
breakout player? Oh, okay.
I see that we win on the final game winning drive 20-17.
All right. Well,
2017.
my breakout player of the game is going to be Isaiah Likely. I think he has a touchdown or
Yeah.
two. I think he has two touchdowns. Bold prediction. I think that we finally score more than 10 points. Um, and I think that the game we will lose 31-17.
Oh,
Okay, that's with Lamar in. If we don't have Lamar in with Cooper Rush, I think it's 56-1. And then we get the first 1 point safety. That's another bold prediction. And then if Tyler Huntley's in there, it's 56-2. But I think Lamar's playing. I think we lose 31-17.
there
And
you
we
go.
we already did our predictions in the bye week
Yeah,
thing. You want to check those out there in that video. So oh,
there
and
you go.
before we leave, I just want to say, our social medias all will be the same handle now. Birds of Prey. I couldn't do sports because it was too long, so I had to abbreviate it. And so there's no abbreviation for sports. I looked up and everything. I had to do just STS. So it kind of looks like Birds of Preyists, but I promise that it means Birds of Prey Sports. So check all those out. The links will be in the bio. They're all fixed. I had to fix them. I forgot to fix them, but they're fixed now. It should be right here on the bottom here. It's right here. It should say like probably like right here. Trying to
Yeah,
point it right. So Birds of Prey Sports, or STS, whatever you want to say. Make sure you follow those, and I'm gonna try to do game updates on Sunday, if there is any game updates.
yeah. So you heard the man. That's our new social media handles. And while we're at it, make sure you guys go and subscribe and follow to each of those social medias: Instagram, our TikTok, and our Twitter. Also once again, shout out to Jared. He's been grinding with our shorts. Shorts have, been killing it, the last couple of days, doing reaching, astronomical numbers for our channel. We have short basically over 20K views right now, and other shorts that are doing great as well. Once again, shout out to him for, putting those out there. Also, shout out to him for seeing the graphics that you see around our screen. So he's really been grinding. He's really been, making sure our channel is, the best, for you guys and all of our viewers. So show some love down below in the comments. Also, check out our second channel, Casual Cinema. We'll be having something on there soon, so stay tuned. But so we got for you guys in this video. Bird Spray Sports, and we're out.
Right.